Those of you who got an invite, welcome to Nerd Prom.
No matter where in the world you are, we're all Nerds International. With the hyphen.
Right, YouTube, it's Mr. Mean coming at you from Christmas Eve, Beaumont, Texas. And the Saints won. Woo! I'm a huge Saints fan, so very happy the Saints were able to pull off a win today against the Dirty Birds, the Falcons. We won. That puts us in playoff contention. Carolina looks like they won. I know you guys don't care about football. Most gamer geeks don't, but I am a gamer geek that loves his football. So happy to hear the Saints won. It was a good game. Anyway, coming to you from Beaumont, Texas, Christmas Eve. I hope you're all having a very Merry Christmas. Everybody in my family's sick. Baby's got a little bit of a cough. My in-laws got the flu. So their Christmas has pretty much been canceled for the Polak family and the Stigall family. We were hoping to make it down to Sulphur and spend some time with my in-laws, my wife's parents. We always do a big shing-ding every year with them for Christmas, and this year we can't because they're fighting the flu. Anyway, today's video du jour, it's an oldie. Well, it's not really an oldie. It is an oldie. In Germany, it's an oldie. It's a 30-year oldie. Here in America, it's only been here since about 92. And that's right, my friends, The Dark Eye. I got my Kickstarter in a week and a half ago. It's the first time I'm getting a chance. I've been fighting a crud. Hopefully it doesn't come across my voice too bad. Got a nasty cough, so I apologize if I'm coughing in the video. But I got my ginseng tea and honey iced tea. Arizona iced tea, good stuff. Helps my throat. Anyway, I wanted to go over some of the goodies I got in my Kickstarter reward for The Dark Eye, for the Warring Kingdoms. This is the first Kickstarter I was able to back for The Dark Eye. I've been a huge fan of theirs for years, and Ulysses Spiel, of course, is a driving force in Germany for the game. And, of course, they have Ulysses Spiel North America, who are doing Torg, for those of you that are in the know. And they've also got the rights to Fading Suns, so I'm hoping to see something good from that in the new year, 2018. Hopefully I'll be in a better financial situation. I can back that because I really love the setting of the Fading Suns. It's a phenomenal setting, very well done. It was a bunch of ex-White Wolfers, guys that did Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf and Mage and all that, and Changeling, that went over and started their own company because they wanted to do things their way. And if rumor has it, and it's strictly rumor, the guys at White Wolf weren't interested in doing any kind of sci-fi setting. They were making money off of the dark world, and they wanted to keep it going that way. And these guys wanted to go off and do something sci-fi, and they did. Now, if that's true or not, I don't know. If you're in the know, hey, please point it out. But anyway, Ulysses Spiel now, North America, has the rights to Fading Suns, and so if their quality of product is anything like it is on The Dark Eye, then Fading Suns is in great hands. I'm sure we'll have a phenomenal product. Our Kickstarter for Torg got delayed until early next year. Unfortunately, there were some issues. I don't want to go into them here. It's no big deal. But the way they've handled their previous Kickstarters, from what I've seen, has been really well done. The Dark Eye Kickstarter stuff has always, as far as I know, has been on time, or at least very transparent in its effects to the users or to the buyers. And we hear all these horror stories of Kickstarters, and I mean, I've got a couple that I backed 5 years ago, and I still haven't received my product. What is that? I mean, that's horrible. I mean, so Ulysses Spiel, I think, has a pretty decent track record as far as I'm understanding. The Warring Kingdoms thing ended on time, as far as I know. They were transparent through the whole process, told us when stuff was coming and what to expect, and then they kept all their stretch goals. So I have nothing but the utmost faith, and I mean, I know Torg will be wonderful once it comes in. And my understanding is it's not anybody at Ulysses Spiel's fault of why it's being delayed. for Torg, it had to do with publishers and printing and travel from China or wherever it's being printed at. So anyway, enough of all that. What did I get in the Warring Kingdoms Kickstarter? Well, I backed at the $40 level, which I gotta say is pretty darn awesome, because I got everything that was released through stretch goals. So it worked out really well for me because I did $40 or $50, and I got quite a bit of stuff. So first off, one of the things is everybody's going to get a set of dice that we're going to have the Warring Kingdoms symbols on them. And the Kickstarter went so well that everybody got 2 sets of dice. So these are both sets of the dice. The Nostria dice and the Andergast dice. So instead of getting 1 each, I got 2 each. And these are 6-siders, and if you know the game, these are pretty much used for damage. So those are awesome. One of the other things they get, and of course I got most of this stuff in PDF, but because the Kickstarter did so well, and the stretch goals were met and or exceeded, a lot of it went into print. So the first 2 things I got, which I think are freaking awesome, and I really hope they adopt this for Torg. It'll be really cool. It's the Aventuria Herald. It's basically a newspaper. This is just a newspaper. It's on real kind of flimsy paper, and it's just a bunch of articles that are written in the flavor of the game. I mean, there's some cool art, as you can see. It's just like a big Saturday morning newspaper. That's all it is. It's really cool though. And there's adventure seeds in here. I mean, you can pillage this for everything you want. It's just neat stuff. And so I got 2 of them, and they're done. I don't want to say quarterly. I think they're done every so many months. So I got the Adventure Herald 179 and 178. So these are one right after the other. Like I said, little newspapers, and those were in print. I did not print those myself. But then, of course, with each one, you get the GM's information. So there's a little bit of story seed and adventure put into these newspapers that you as a GM can, hand these to your players, let them read them, and then you can slide these adventures in on them. And of course, my camera's not going to play nice with me today. And it's GM stuff because it has the Adventuria mask. Whenever you see this symbol in the core book or on anything, that means GM's eyes only. So you get one little sheet for each newspaper, and that tells you, what the GM needs to know in there. And I'm not going to go into any spoilers on those or anything because, well, you may be a player and your GM would give me bad mojo, and I don't want that. The other cool thing is, due to the stretch goals, 2 adventures were put out. The Turnip Harvest, and these were PDF and got, because of all the stretch goals, they got turned into hard copy. So we got the Turnip Harvest, and if you don't know, if you're a new GM or you're a new player to the Dark Eye, one of the cool things you can do is you can look on the back of any Dark Eye book or adventure, and they'll have this little blurb right here, this little gray area. This will usually be on the back, and you'll see it's got some tick marks. And what this is it says genre, detective, adventure, dungeon adventure. Location, Woolsen and the New Woolsen on the coastal road of the lower marches in Bornland. Tells you where the adventure takes place. The date, at any point from 1036 FB onwards, if played as part of the Theater Knights campaign, this adventure is set between the Blue Tome and the Green Platoon during the months of Elford and Fex, 1039. So if you're a GM looking for a one-shot adventure or for a small interlude to your Theater Knights campaign, you could throw this right in there and it would fit. They give you the timeline, they give you everything. And then it tells you prerequisites, none. Complexity, player/GM. So for the player, it's medium, and for the GM, it's a medium complexity. So maybe not perfect for brand new GMs or brand new players, but not terribly difficult. You could probably figure it out and play it. Suggested hero experience level, competent, which I believe is 1,100 experience points. So the average character is going to be okay in this. And then it gives you challenge levels, and they're a 4-star rating. And so it says social skills is 3 out of 4. Combat, 2 out of 4. Stealth, 2 out of 4. And living history, 2 out of 4. And it says at the very bottom, you need only the Dark Eye core rules to play this adventure. The Aventuria Almanac is useful but not required. This book contains all other supported information such as stats, maps, and handouts. And I will say all of their adventures have this on the back of them, and it's very helpful. And when they say everything's included, they're not lying. They put these adventures are very well written. And they're laid out really well. It's on some heavy, like, the first 2 sheets are thicker than the inner sheets, but it's going to hold up to some play. It's staple bound. I mean, but you can hear it. It's got some heft to it. And so that's the Turnip Harvest, and it's a whopping 15 pages long. So these are short adventures you can play in 2 or 3 sessions. And then we have Legacy of the Dike, which was another one. And again, the same blurb on the back. I'm not going to go into it, but it's pretty much the same. Complexity low. So if you're looking for a good intro level adventure, and you're new to the Dark Eye and you want to get your players involved, this is a good adventure because GM and player complexity is low. Suggested heroes is inexperienced to competent. So inexperienced, I want to say, is 700 experience points to start. I don't remember off the top of my head. Don't quote me. It might be 900. And then experienced, I believe, is 1,100. Again, don't quote me, but I think I'm correct. It's been a while. But yeah, these are great, man. I'm sure these are going to be available for purchase because everything else that's been in their previous Kickstarters has now come out in print that you can buy from your favorite local game store. So I'm hoping this will be the same case. Then the other cool thing that was also done via the Kickstarter was figure flats. And of course, they got enough, they hit all their stretch goals to turn them into an actual physical product. And so here's some black pelts, or as we call them in the Dark Eye, orcs. And so these are just trifold, so they turn into a little triangle standing up with their name on it. So nothing major there. On the back here it says this set includes more than 60 figure flats and the character, races, creatures, and monsters from the Dark Eye core rules, the Aventuria Almanac, and the Warring Kingdoms. Let Aventuria truly come to life at your gaming table. Adventure awaits. So just another cool to have. If you don't want to use miniatures, you can just cut these out, or you could photocopy them and then cut them out so that you don't ruin your physical product. I have a ton of those D&D and Pathfinder pre-painted plastic miniatures, so I don't really have a need for those. I mean, they are specific to this game, but an orc is an orc, and everybody knows what they are. So I usually, if I use miniatures in my game, I use the pre-painted stuff. Getting a little sip of tea here. And then, of course, the star of the show, Aventuria, the Warring Kingdoms, Nostria, and Andergast. So pretty awesome cover there. Again, they went with all their other books. Production quality, 100% top notch. Kudos to Ulysses Spiel North America. You guys knocked it out of the park again. We even get a cool little bookmark, a silk strand bookmark. So you've seen the cover. Aventuria, this is off of the back of the book. The Warring Kingdoms, Nostria, and Andergast by Florian Don Schuren and Daniel Simon Richter. Additional material by Evie Demetriou and Alex Spohr. The grudge between the Warring Kingdoms of Nostria and Andergast has burned for almost 2 millennia. This regional sourcebook provides detailed background information on those hostile realms and their combative inhabitants in northwestern Aventuria. Explore the hazardous forest wilderness, the deadly blade grass steeps in the east, and the rough shores of the lakelands. Uncover hidden secrets in Soons, which is druids and witches, and pit your heroes against new creatures such as evil marwolds and predatory giant dragonflies. I did read the article in here about the dragonflies. They're the size of a cow. And when they swarm, they'll take humans down. They don't have any fear. So pretty cool that, a normal dragonfly can be the size of a man and eat you. So the Warring Kingdoms includes the following: 11 new regional professions such as Andergastan Knight, Nostrian Dike Builders, All-Knowing Serpent Witches, and Mysterious Druids. An example forest wilderness village that can be placed anywhere in Nostria or Andergast. Details on knightly traditions and royal tournaments. New armor and weapons, including the famous two-handed Andergaster sword and the Nostrian longbow. Focus rules for character traits to give your hero regional flair. New special abilities, spells, rituals, and the Ignatic ancestor glyphs. Mysteries and adventure hooks for use by the GM. A poster map of the region, plus city maps of Andergast, Nostria, Joborn, Salta, and Salterhaven, and Teshkal. Recommended for 1 GM and 3 to 6 players age 14 and above. Cover price $39.99. So you're getting a lot of content in this book. I mean, if you wanted to know about those areas, here's the map. We'll get to that in a second. We're looking at approximately 192 pages, comprehensive index in the back, and a table of contents, of course, if I try not to mangle my book. Table of contents, of course, richly well done. The little mask for the GM section for information, as always, really well done. The theme and the flavor of the book really comes through. They go into the flora and fauna. They do the little, I lack of a better word, I'm gonna say a pog, but they do the little pog faces of the main NPCs from the core book, and as they pertain to this area, so there's like a dwarf talking about the dwarves, and just really well done. Culture and science, important NPCs in the area, the whole 9 yards. Detailed maps of like the local cities and towns and villages. Of course, all the weapons are in here. So this is a GM and a player's book. Just everything. Forest wolf, monsters. The unicorn is in here. It's a very cool write-up on the unicorn, by the way. Just some neat stuff. You can't go wrong either way. Spellcraft and sorcery. I've yet, in fact, it's where the bookmark is on the spellcraft and sorcery, because that's the section I really want to read. I'm running my friends through it. We play off and on. As I've said this in the past, the problem is I have gamer ADD. Ooh, look, shiny game. And so we started a campaign of this, then we started a campaign of Conan. Then I was able to, I made a trip to Alta Humble 2 weekends ago, and I managed to find the rare copy of Dragon Age from Fantasy Flight, hardback, all compiled together, of all 3 box sets they put into one book. It's going on eBay and stuff for like $100 to $200. So I found it for cover price for $60. So I was quite stoked, and we sat and we Saturday night is our game night, and I sat down and we rolled up character. Everyone was like, "Yeah, let's play," and so we did. And so I got 3 different campaigns going that are bi-weekly. The on week we play Torg, that my friend John is running. Excuse me. And then the opposite week, either my friend Joshua runs D&D or I run something. And so it's been a while since we've been back to the Dark Eye, but I think we're going to make our way back there real soon. Here's the map that's in the book. Just a quick little map. Very nicely done of that area, that region. I'm excited to see the witches and the druids information, because I know on the American-based forums there's been a lot of people asking tons of questions of that. So it's a lot of it is addressed in here. The other thing I got the combat and special abilities. I think I got this with my dice, and I think I reviewed it last time when I did the Dice Cup review. I don't remember. I think I did. But I don't think this was part of the Kickstarter, if I remember correctly. But just so you guys are aware, if you didn't see that other video, these are out. And these are basically just cards that help you remember certain rules in the game. So that's everything that I got in the Kickstarter. I got to say I'm pleasantly surprised. The Adventurers, having them hard copy is really nice. I'm probably going to run my players through the Legacy of the Dike. That looks like a good adventure. We're still newbies. They're all still first level. They haven't garnered enough experience to go up in a level. But there's just too many good games out there, guys. And please, for love of God, try different games. There's something to be said about having a 20-year, Pathfinder game, or, well, it hasn't been out that long, but, a 20-year D&D game. That's awesome for continuity and stuff, but break it up. Play some other games. There's so many good games out there. I get real tired of seeing on the forums, this game sucks, and, it's not D&D. You're right, it's not D&D. It's that game. And there are people out there that like it because it's selling. Somebody's buying it. Just because you or your group doesn't like it doesn't make it a bad game. So this ties into my worldview, and I don't want to get too heavy into this, but there's diversity in everything. It's what makes us human beings. And there's diversity in role-playing games. I don't like Atlanta Falcons. It's a football team. I don't have anything against them. I just don't like them because they're against the Saints. The Saints are my team. Same thing in D&D. D&D's fine. It's not my preferred game of choice. If I had to pick between the Dark Eye and D&D, the Dark Eye would win every time because to me it's a much more diverse world. It's fleshed out really well. Not to say that D&D isn't. It's just not my cup of tea. I like D&D. I've played it. Let's face it. We all started somewhere. I started with the original D&D. I have the perfect bound stapled white little booklets signed by Gary Gygax from years ago at Gen Con when I went. And those are my mom bought me those. I was a troubled kid in school. I was getting into fights. I was hanging out with some of the wrong kids. And my mom was worried. And my mom had to get me into something. And I was always into fantasy. I was into books. I was into reading. So she got me this little thing called Dungeons and Dragons. Didn't know anything about it. My mom just bought it because she saw a caricature on the front cover and thought, he's into this kind of stuff. I'm going to get him this. And man, did that open up a world for me. All of a sudden, I stopped hanging out with thugs and bad guys, and I started reading more. I became an A student in school. It all led, so D&D is probably responsible for me not being a statistic on the streets in Brooklyn. As corny as that sounds. So, have some diversity. Play other games. There's good games out there. There's bad games out there. There really are. There are some games that you'll play and you'll try to wrap your head around the rules and you'll go, what the hell? But at least you tried. At least you played the game, and maybe it wasn't for you. Maybe it was. I don't like seeing hate on the forums for other games. And I don't understand why people troll the forums. I do understand why, because the word troll that says it all. But there's a game out there for everybody. Let's face it. That's why it's just like books. You're into romance novels. I'm into, trash noir novels. She's into fantasy. He's into fantasy football novels. Believe me, they have them. There's something for everybody. So don't, just because it's not your cup of tea, don't shoot your GM down or your fellow players down. If not everybody can make it to game night and you've got a game you've been dying to try, hey guys, let's try this. Now do yourself a favor, read up on the rules, be prepared to run, have pre-generated characters if at all possible, unless your group is the kind of group that likes making characters. Mine is not. My group, they want to just play. They don't want to sit there and make characters. But, there's exceptions to the rule, because when I brought the Dragon Age book and I said, dude, I'm not ready to run this, and they were like, well, whatever. And I said, I don't have pre-made. Well, whatever. We sat down and we made characters, believe it or not. And my group normally doesn't do that. They want to just play. If you don't have pre-made characters, there's going to be a lynching. And so I was totally impressed when they were totally ready to sit down and play Dragon Age, and they were willing to make characters. And we went through character creation pretty fast, but they made characters, and we played a game that none of them had played before, and everybody had a blast. And it's normally not our kind of game. So my point to this tirade is that try different games. There's a lot of diversity out there, and you might just find a game that you didn't think you were going to like. You might just like it. And with that being said, talking about pre-made characters, it's going to segue me into Drive-Thru RPG. Go on Drive-Thru RPG, look under the dark eye, and you're going to find the character creator. It's made by a fan. This is not, I don't believe it's endorsed by Ulysses Spiel North America, but this guy's put his blood, sweat, and tears into this. He's on the Ulysses Spiel forum, and it's in Linux, it's in Mac, and it's in PC Windows. And it's really good software. This guy, I have to assume, is a software developer by trade, because this is some sharp-looking software. So I would think if you could put this on a tablet or your Mac, or if you had a PC, some gaming groups have a projector that they can project to on the wall, and then they can run through this. Great tool to help you make characters for your gaming session. And like I said, I'm not getting paid by Ulysses Spiel or anything like that. It's just I'm a fan, and I backed the Kickstarter with my own hard-earned money, and I've been using this guy's program. I've been playing with it, and I got to say, it's cool. So if you want to try and get into a new game, and maybe your group's tired of D&D, maybe they're tired of Palladium Fantasy, or maybe they're tired of Warhammer, and you want to try something different, The Dark Eye, 30 years, guys. 30 years they've been doing this. They got it down. And I mean, the history, the lore, the flavor, it's all in there. And it's done really well. And Ulysses Spiel North America is converting it all into English, and they're throwing it out. And what a better time to be a gamer than now, with our production qualities and printing abilities. These books are just absolutely gorgeous. And this book is it's solid. I mean, I'm going to pass this down to my son, who is 11 months old. And when he's 10 or 12 years old and he's ready to start jumping into gaming, I'm going to give him this book, and I'm going to say, hey, let's do it. And I'm going to run a game from it. I'll be old and toothless probably, because look at the gray in that beard, baby. Papa Bear here is already 50, cutting close to 51. So who knows how long I'll be around to jam. But you know what? I'll jam in the sky when I'm all said and done, because even Jesus rolls crits. But I'm not a religious person, so don't quote me. Anyway, guys, I've rambled on long enough. I just wanted to get that out there, show you all the cool stuff that I got from The Dark Eye. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And remember to ding the bell, because when you do, you'll get notified when I post a new video. Hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps me out. Pass it on to your friends. Tell them all the cool stuff. I do honest reviews from my point of view, nobody else's. I'm not influenced by game publishers or anybody. I tell it like it is. If I like it, if I don't like it, if I think it's okay, whatever. The Dark Eye, I'm going to tell you right now, is a like. This is my game. I love this. They've done a really great job, and if you guys haven't checked it out, you need to go check it out. The Dark Eye by Ulysses Spiel North America. So, Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you have a joyous Christmas. I hope everybody is feeling well and is not coming down with this cold crud like I am. I think I've kicked it, though. I'm a little hot, I'm a little sweaty, but I got a little bright light on me, so that could be it. Anyways, Feliz Navidad, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, piss off, whatever your deal is. Mr. Mean says he loves you. Be nice, hug your fellow man, and play more games.